China's decision not ideal but better than status quo. Bank accounts frozen, cash and properties worth 4 million ringgit seized. Good evening, I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News on 2. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister Yobi Yin says the government's move to let Lynas Malaysia explore a permanent disposal facility, PDF, in the country is a superior solution to the current solution. However, Mastech Minister, who previously insisted that the Australian mining firm must repatriate its waste, also conceded that she did not consider the decision to be the best.
Dan prosedur perlu diambil sebelum kenyataan rasmi secara terperinci boleh diumumkan kepada semua lah. So selewat-lewatnya 15 Ogos kita akan umum secara terperinci.
The minister said this after officiating the National Science Week at Pustaka Raja Tun Uda in Shah Alam, Selangor. She further noted that she will continue to gather feedback on the matter. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad earlier confirmed that the government was dropping its requirement for Lynas to repatriate its water leach purification WLP residue as a precondition for its license renewal due by the 1st of September. Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar says the Standard Operating Procedure SOP document for bauxite mining and export in Pahang is ready to be finalised. He said the ministry, together with the Pahang state government, would consider the application of the SOP document and determine the effective date. Commenting further on the matter in a statement released today, Dr. Xavier said the SOP document will then be uploaded on the ministry's website for reference by all parties concerned. He was referring to a report on the online news portal which mentioned, among others, the delay in preparing the SOP for bauxite mining and export activities in Pahang. Commenting further, Xavier said the SOP, which had taken into account the views of all the stakeholders, imposed strict conditions covering the entire chain of mining activities from pre, current and post-mining stages. This is to ensure environmental sustainability, economic prosperity and the well-being of the people. The ministry further noted that the preparation of the document went through a number of processes, including the public hearing session on 14th of April, attended by 519 people and collected 56 verbal and online responses. The Housing and Local Government Ministry has launched a campaign known as Campaign Saya Berani Menegur. Is an effort to make cleanliness as part of one's lifestyle. Minister Zuraida Kamarudin said she also hopes that at least 10% of Malaysians will have the courage to reprimand one another to help create a litter-free and pollution-free Malaysia. Zuraida said with the launch of the campaign, it will simultaneously influence the rakyat to exercise good hygiene practices and care for the environment. She reiterated that Malaysia cannot merely depend on law enforcement to tackle the cleanliness issue.
Budaya kan? Saya ingat kalau kita ada budaya kan, ya kita sambut. Jadi yang berani menegur, vokal-vokal ni cikgu-cikgu. Number one. Then community politik, persatuan penduduk. Pemimpin masyarakat, they have to start. Jadi orang yang kena tegur tu belajar segan. Kalau tidak, budaya kita bila kita tegur, yang kena tegur tu marah pula kita. So jadi kalau kita ada budaya ini kita mulakan, jadi dia ada segan sikit dan dengan itu saya harap dapat menyerapkan satu adat atau satu perasaan, satu budaya yang boleh memberikan kesedaran dan juga.
Earlier, Zuraida officiated the Little River Festival at Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan SJK Tamil, Taman Melawati, Kuala Lumpur. On another note, Zuraida said Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad should finish a full term in office to stabilize and set the right foundation for the government to administer the country. The PKR vice president also said that party members cannot be selfish and must put the nation's priorities first.
Dia dah set the platform in these 2 years lah katakan, but the continuity, it would to stabilize would take about 5 years at this one term. Then when there's a takeover from there or handover from there, it's easier because the system is there, set up, the framework is there, just to go on, put the system right.
A consensus exists between the 4 Pakatan Harapan parties, PKR, DAP, Parti Amanah Negara and Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, that Tun Dr. Mahathir would hand over the reins to Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim after holding office for 2 years. Tun Dr. Mahathir had previously said that he will step down once the country is stable and is on firmer ground. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Lee Boon Chye has confirmed that the results of earlier studies have found no harmful substances in the ghost smoke candies, which are being sold nationwide. Although the candies have no harmful contents, he said the consumption of such products by children are not recommended, as the candies are able to influence consumers to become smokers. Dr. Lee said the ministry is in collaboration with the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPDN-HEP, the Education Ministry and industry players to also restrict the sale of electronic cigarettes or vape products in all shapes and sizes, including vape pens and vape smart watches to school students.
Mereka yang menjual vape, yang pertama tidak jual kepada mereka yang umur bawah 18 tahun. Mereka tidak boleh buat marketing untuk murid-murid sekolah dan sebagainya. Jadi kita juga bekerjasama dengan Kementerian Pendidikan supaya mengambil tindakan kepada murid-murid sekolah yang membawa alat-alat vape tersebut ke sekolah.
Dr. Lee said the ministry has held discussions with vape producers who has agreed to withdraw the sale of vape pens and vape smart watches from the market. Dr. Lee said this to reporters after presenting contributions to 200 senior citizens and the underprivileged at Taman Sung Chun, Ipoh Perak. Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Dio says celebrating the National Month and flying the Jalur Gemilang campaign have become very significant this year as it started from Melaka. He said this is because it was in this state that the nation's first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Haj, had announced the country's Independence Day. For that, Gobind said Melaka was selected as the site for this year's launch of the National Month and flying the Jalur Gemilang campaign, which will be officiated by Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today. The minister had earlier spent about an hour reviewing the preparations for the launch, which would also be attended by Melaka Chief Minister Adli Zahari at Bandar Hilir. On the preparations for the launch, Gobind, who is also the chairman of the main committee for the 2019 National Month celebration, said he was satisfied with the preparations.
Melaka menjadi tempat pilihan kita kerana kalau kita ingat kembali sejarah Tunku Rahman bila kembali dengan berita bahawa kita akan mencapai kemerdekaan, pengumuman itu dibuat di Melaka. Jadi ini adalah kepentingan kita memilih Melaka sebagai tempat kita melancarkan bulan kebangsaan dan juga kempen Jalur Gemilang tahun ini. Jadi itu adalah satu perkara yang bersejarah dan kepada saya ianya penting dan amat bermakna untuk kita memulakan acara bulan kebangsaan daripada Melaka.
The government is hoping of extending the Love My Palm Oil campaign to the local community throughout the country. Primary Industries Minister Teresa Kok, who is also the Deputy Member of Parliament, said community associations need to play their role to encourage more support from the public on the campaign and the country's palm oil productions. According to Teresa, one of the community associations in Seputeh, namely Taman Desa Residents Association, is an active association which promotes neighborhoods, creates awareness on the nutritional values and usefulness of palm oil and its derivative products. Speaking to reporters after attending a media conference of pre-launch Merdeka Fun Run 2019 for Sayangi Sawitku today, Teresa said it is also educational in nature. Teresa said she had also written to the Education Minister, Dr. Masli Malik, last month to include the nutritional benefits of palm oil in the school syllabus. The Merdeka Fun Run, to be held on 24th of August, will also include palm oil exhibition by the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, MPOC. A total of 35 bank accounts were frozen, in addition to 4 million ringgit cash and property seized in raids on a network of illegal money services businesses, MSB operators around the Klang Valley and Pulau Pinang. Bank Negara, in a statement released, said the raiding operation, held in collaboration with the Royal Malaysian Police and the Malaysian Immigration Department on 1st of August, also saw the seizure of documents, computers and mobile phones related to the activities. The statement said 14 individuals were questioned to assist in the investigation, while 22 illegal immigrants suspected to be the staff and customers of the illegal operators were detained by the Immigration Department under the Immigration Act 1959-63. The network is investigated for suspected offences of carrying out money services business activities without a license under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Money Services Business Act 2011 MSBA and engaging in money laundering activities, which is an offence under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001 AMLA. The statement also said that those committing offences under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the MSBA shall be liable to a fine not exceeding 5 million ringgit or imprisonment not exceeding 10 years or both. For an offence under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the AMLA, persons found guilty can be imprisoned for not more than 15 years and be fined no less than 5 times the sum or value of the proceeds of unlawful activity or instrumentalities of the time of the offence was committed, or 5 million ringgit, whichever is higher. The statement also advised the public not to deal with any illegal money services business operators for remitting money, and that anyone involved would not be protected from financial loss in the event of a dispute. A tour bus skidded off a bridge at kilometre 0.6 of Jalan Salak Tinggi Nilai in Sepang, Selangor at about 6:40 a.m. today. Sepang Police Chief ACP Abdul Aziz Ali, however, says the 40-year-old driver and 2 passengers on board, one of whom was the driver's wife, sustained only minor injuries. Commenting further on the incident, ACP Abdul Aziz said the bus hit a safety rail on the left before skidding and plunging down from the bridge. The bus was believed to have fell 10 meters and landed by the side of the large drain below. The driver's wife, aged 30, and the other passenger, aged 23, a male, both were sent to the Putrajaya Hospital for treatment. The bus was believed to be heading to Nilai from Terminal Berspadu Selatan TBS, Kuala Lumpur. A diesel truck caught fire today at kilometre 23.5 of the new Klang Valley Expressway NKVE near Sungai Buloh heading towards Kuala Lumpur. Selangor Fire and Rescue Services Department Director Hafisham Muhammad Nur, who confirmed the matter, said the vehicle was almost completely destroyed, adding that injuries were also reported in the incident. Hafisham said the fire involved a 1-ton diesel lorry carrying unknown quantity in the cargo hold, and 90% of the vehicle was on fire. Fortunately, he said no victims were involved in the incident. Hafisham said the fire department received a report at 11:21 a.m. and deployed a team from the Sungai Buloh fire station. He said the 6-man team led by Senior Fire Superintendent Narmizi reached the location within 10 minutes and started to bring the fire under control. A 68-year-old owner of a restaurant was burnt to death this morning when he entered his burning shop to retrieve his personal belongings. During the 7:20 a.m. incident, which took place at Lorong Nilam 3 near Taman Ciliung in Pandamaran, Klang, the victim, Lim Kumbuk, had evacuated from his shop when it was ablaze but re-entered it to retrieve his belongings before firemen arrived to the scene. According to Deputy Director for Operations at the Selangor Fire and Rescue Department, Hafisham Muhammad Noor, Lim had been trapped by a fallen beam. In a statement, Hafisham said the fire station had received an emergency call at about 7:30 a.m. and a team with 6 machines had been deployed to the area 10 minutes later to find the restaurant destroyed. The team took about 30 minutes to put out the fire, after which Lim's charred body was found in the premises. Hafisham said the cause of the fire is being investigated by authorities. Johor Malaysian Maritime Authorities nabbed 3 Indonesian nationals along with a boat which lacked a registration number about 3.2 nautical miles southeast from Pulau Kukup for allegedly attempting to commit a robbery. The 3 detainees were aged 23 to 43 and the incident took place at about half an hour past midnight earlier today. According to a statement by Johor Maritime Director, First Admiral Aminuddin Abdul Rashid, the men were detained by Malaysian maritime patrol vessels which were patrolling the area under an operation dubbed Operasi Jaksa. The trio's modus operandi was to target ships that were moving slowly and had a low freeboard. They were found to have been committing their thieving activities as a group activity, but without the use of guns. Maritime authorities also seized over 2 tons of scrap metal. The boat and the 3 men arrested were taken to the Sungai Pulai Maritime Jetty for further investigation. We begin with the Malaysia Cup. Johor Darul Tazim JDT carried forward the momentum of winning their 6th consecutive Super League title into the Malaysia Cup by scoring a 3-1 win over UITM FC in their opening match last night. The Southern Tigers took the lead through a header by imported Brazilian striker Diogo Santo in the 15th minute of the Group B match at Stadium Tan Sri Dato' Haji Hassan Yunos in Larkin, Johor. The 2017 champions then increased the lead through a penalty conversion by Mohamed Safawi Rashid in the 65th minute after Mohamed Akhyar Abdul Rashid was felled inside the penalty box. Super League's second top scorer, Diogo, then made it 3-0 in the 85th minute. UITM FC's consolation goal was scored by Montenegro import Zarko Korac in injury time. Meanwhile, JDT head coach Benjamin Mora is not fully satisfied with his team's overall performance despite their 3-1 win over UITM FC. Mora said he expected his Chargers to do better, as they were supposed to dominate and control the game, adding that some of his players were not at their best in the match. On the other hand, UITM FC head coach Ismail Zakaria praised his boys for putting on a good show. Meanwhile, at Stadium Sultan Ismail Nasaruddin Shah in Kuala Terengganu, 2018 runners-up Terengganu FC TFC also started on the right footing by beating PKNS FC 3-1 in their Group A match. The Turtles opened account through a short-range shot by Uzbekistan import Sanjar Shakhmedov in the 5th minute. Muhammad Jafri Muhammad Firdaus Chu, however, equalized for the Red Ants in the 30th minute. TFC came back strongly to go into the lead again through a header by defender Nasrullah Hanif Johan in the 38th minute. But Sanjar scored again in extra time to give the 2001 champions 3 points. TFC interim coach Nafuzi Zain said his team's 3-1 victory against PKNS FC was a good start for his boys. Speaking to reporters after the match, he said even though some senior players were plagued by injuries, the replacements showed they were made of the right stuff. Tonight, Negeri Sembilan will play newly crowned FA Cup champions Kedah, while Pahang play Pulau Pinang, Petaling Jaya PJ City FC meet PKNP, and Selangor play host to Felda United. That concludes this evening's News on 2. In our top story, decision on liners plant on 15th of August. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon with me, Cynthia Arthur. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.